I'm so excited to be here with you for tea time today. Pastor Ryan will be here in just a quick second. So as you guys are getting your Facebook pulled up and onto tea time and finding something yummy to eat for lunch with us, I am pulling it up on Facebook now. Hi, Aunt Lisa. I love when I get to see people popping on throughout our tea time. It's so cool. So as we're waiting for Ryan, pop on. Tell me what you're having for lunch. I'm starving. Tell me how your day has been. Hey, Ryan. Oh.
All right. Thanks for getting us started.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi,
Aunt
Joey.
Lisa. All right. Joey's up there too. Let's see if I can get mine to show me who's up.
We are praying for your husband today, Miss Joey. I want you to know.
Go. Yeah. It's good to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't run, but I'm out of breath. I think I'm just excited. I'm excited. That's what's going on.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm just so glad to be back. So glad to be back on campus and doing the thing I love. Good to see you in person.
Mm-hmm.
Good to imagine your lovely faces out there.
And what they're eating. I told them that.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
Yeah, right? Bonus points if it's Caribbean food.
What?
Yeah, like some good Cuban food maybe.
Oh.
Some rice and some
I know this
beans.
really good Cuban place in
Do ya?
Orlando.
Do you? Yeah.
We went there at a conference.
Yeah, it was so good. It was way better than the conference. No, the conference was really
No,
good
it was
too.
wonderful.
Yeah. So it's good to be together, and I'm so proud of the church for handling everything on Sunday while I was at home. But I mean, if you've been watching our stuff for a while, you know how supremely disappointed I was that I couldn't be here in person, because we've gone back to one of my favorite things that I felt God lead us to start last year, which is God's Big Story, this 2-year slow walk through the Bible, which feels like a slow walk because it's 2 years, but it's actually like a breakneck speed pace. Like the whole story of God's revelation. I mean, you talk about it your whole life, really.
Yeah.
Some of the stories that we've already just skipped right on over. I'm like, we really got to go back. But what we're really trying to do is to get the big story inside our hearts in such a way that we are living out this story more meaningfully with our neighbors. Not that we're like, hey, listen, let me talk to you about the story of the Battle of Jericho. Not that, but what's really being revealed about the truth of our lives as we're living into God's big story. So yeah, last week we talked a little bit about Jericho. Those kids totally brought that wall down.
They thought that was the coolest.
If you missed it, they did in person. They had some of those, what are those, like paper... cardboard.
Yeah, they're like cardboard blocks.
Yeah.
That the kids like to play with anyways. Some of them remember them because they used to be in our nursery. And so some of them remember doing that in nursery, like building it up and breaking it down. So they were like super excited on the walk back after the children's moment. That's all they were talking about is breaking down the block.
Yeah. So
it was super cool.
Well, and so what we're doing, the cycle that we're in now has a chicken on it. Sorry, I got that out of order. Don't you worry, we'll get back to the chicken. But it's the rise of the king. And we're in volume 5 of God's big story. And so the part we're walking through now is these stories that talk to us about how we really need authority and what happens when we don't have it. And also how much we don't like it. But it points to, as if we follow the story all the way through, this cycle and then on beyond, it points to our relationship with God, who is love and the ultimate authority, right? That's the long road that we're on. So this time we're looking at the rise of the king. And so this week we're specifically looking at that awful part. It's called Downward Spiral, because the book of Judges shows this up and down movement where God raises up a leader who's kind of like a king called a judge. And the people are like, oh, good, we're great, we're good. And then they just start, we don't have to worry about God anymore. So they just do their own thing and it all falls apart. So we're going to look at that. And this gets us back to the chicken. Alicia, Clementine Lambert.
I knew that was coming.
How do you feel about this chicken? What feelings, you, my friends out there in viewerland, how do you feel about this chicken and this picture? Do you feel good, happy, sad, confused?
I feel like a little of everything.
Yeah, right.
It makes me miss my chickens.
Yeah.
Because we've had chickens.
They had good ones. I don't mean delicious. I have no idea.
No.
Just
it's okay, we didn't eat them.
The kind of chickens you can build a life with.
Yeah, so it makes me miss our chickens. I'm sure if my husband was watching, he would be like, don't get any ideas. Come
on, Matt.
Yeah, right? It makes me sad because our chickens only went in their little house at night. And so I feel like it's just looking through like a cage. It's sad to me.
Because it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a chicken, right?
It's a chicken.
It makes George hungry.
Yeah.
That's a lot of feathers, though, George.
Yeah, I don't know chickens like some of y'all do. This one might be a chicken called a millefleur, with the feathers out like that. That's a particular breed of chicken. Look it up.
I'm sure he's right. You know all that.
So I brought some eggs over to a friend's house last night, and I made sure to give instruction as to why these are high quality eggs, because my dad used to judge eggs at the county fair. So if you need to know about your eggs, give me a call. Anyway, so yeah. A good picture of a chicken elicits a lot of emotions, but part of it is, on the one hand, well, yeah, you don't just let chickens run around loose. Even if you've got chickens, generally, you keep them contained somewhat. And what are the reasons for that, right? Like, there's a reason you guys had your chickens in that really cool house thing that y'all had, right? Mm-hmm. There are two big reasons I can think of.
Well, to protect them at night.
Yeah.
Because predators come out at night.
Yeah.
And a place for them to lay their eggs.
Yeah.
I guess, again, for protecting them.
Well, yeah, but it's a different kind of protection. It helps them do what really kind of their reason for being.
Right.
I mean, there's a few reasons y'all had them, not just for the companionship, but also for, to produce eggs. And if you've got them just laying eggs willy-nilly, that's not that great for the chickens.
Well, and they like cover them up. So like after we got rid of our chickens, there was eggs around like the bushes behind my house.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In there, like, why is there eggs here? And
Yeah.
how long have they been here?
Right.
That's what would happen. They would lay them everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, the few times I got to see them, it's not like they were sitting there at the bars like, oh, please let me out. They're just hanging out in their house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have some of those similar reactions. Like, on the one hand, like, I hate the idea of cages, and this one's not very comfortable. This is a temporary cage. But in fact, the eggs that I buy cage-free eggs because I feel bad for the chickens. But on the one hand, like, for the life of the chicken, a cage or something like it is kind of a necessity.
Right.
At least the way that we understand things. Maybe there's a world out there where all chickens run free and it truly is better for everybody. But the way we understand the world and our relationships with chickens, you need some kind of version of a cage.
So if you go to the Keys, totally off subject. But
Yeah.
if you go to the Keys, there's roosters walking everywhere. You're
Yeah.
like sitting at lunch on the on the outside patio, and there's like roosters walking everywhere. So
Yeah.
when I think of chickens, obviously that brings back the thought of roosters
So
walking
that's interesting.
everywhere.
So those chickens add to the kind of cool, trippy vibe that's Key West, right?
Yeah.
Oh, chicken. You know.
Yeah, you got to figure out how many you can find in a day, and we just make it fun.
So, in the perspective of our relationship with these delightful birds, like, is that really the best? Because on the one hand, it's a free chicken. He can do whatever he wants. But on the other hand, there's no real benefit to us
Right.
other than enjoyment, which maybe that's okay for that scene. Maybe some people are finding their eggs or whatnot. I mean, we're getting out there. The whole point is that as much as I don't like seeing animals in cages, right? And as much, and I'm making the jump to the cages that we live in, and some of those similar things. Like, what are some of the cages that we have that allow us protections, as well as kind of give us a location to be fruitful and productive, So, and we're in a time where people are like, don't you tell me what I can and can't do. I mean, it's rising out there, in a lot of different arenas, not just the mask COVID debate. It's touching on a lot of aspects. Like, like we have this saying that everybody knows, it's a free country. I can do what I want, except not really. I mean, when I drive home, I stay on the roads. I mean, I don't.
Right. You have to stop at red lights.
I stop at red lights. I drive on the right side of the road. I don't drive on the sidewalk. I mean, I do it without thinking, and I do it without feeling like the man is keeping me down. And part of it, and I came to this awareness a while back. I used to be a bit of an idiot driver where, I know it's hard to believe, where I wanted to drive fast, and to kind of show that I was the master of this machine. And I really am a better driver than most people, and to really wanted to showcase my abilities. I was like, why be a defensive driver when you can win? I'm grown up now.
Thank goodness.
Can you imagine? What an idiot. Oh, gosh. But whatever. That's where I was. That's my journey. I'm
glad your journey has moved on.
Yeah. When I came to this realization in the middle of a sermon that wouldn't it be better? I know, right? Wouldn't it be better if instead of us all just like, I'm in my car and I'm taking me and mine to get where I need to get, and all y'all just do your thing and get out of my way. What if we approached driving more collectively and like, hey, isn't it all better for all of us if we work together to make sure all of us get to where we got to get safely and quickly? Wouldn't that be a much better experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
So the rules help.
So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
When you have thoughts like that during your sermon, how do you concentrate? Like, I feel like I'd be like, oh, squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
You know me well enough to know that that's just my life.
Yeah. You're right.
That's just me.
You're right.
And I love that part, because I will have, and it's one of the ways where I know God's at work. I mean, sometimes I'll just get distracted by something, absolutely. But I think because I have a tendency towards distraction, I can get some of those heavenly insights and just wrap them in, sometimes.
That's a blessing for sure.
Yeah. So I guess what I'd like for us to be thinking about is, really that relationship, because these cages, like our, highway laws and whatnot, that's a type of a cage.
Right.
There's other ones that we don't think too much about, like wearing shoes in a restaurant. You just kind of do that.
Wearing clothes in a restaurant.
Wearing clothes in a restaurant. Yeah, please.
Keep your clothes on. Abide by the rules.
But you know what? It's kind of a cage.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's kind of a cage.
Right.
And there's a whole subgroup of people that have their little nudist colonies because they don't want that kind of a cage, right?
Right.
But even that, they're in their little spot. they've made their own cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to talk about that on Sunday. But
just for the friends that are watching us online.
Bonus. And I guess part of where this goes is our relationship with each other, our mutual agreements with authority, and the authorities that we choose to respect or are forced to respect. There's consequences for some of those authorities if you disobey, or but really how that ties into the ultimate authority. And because what I hope is true about us is I know that I'm closer to God when I'm obeying the rules, not just because there's rules, but because it's helping me love somebody, right? I don't like one thing that I've, especially after being a dad, is that like driving through the neighborhoods, I'm always scanning and looking, and I'll drive below the speed limit, and it's not because there's this rule, it's because there might be kids,
right?
Or a dog or something, and I just don't want anything to happen, right? So that's where this is all leading. So just as we kind of wind this down, like be thinking about, well, what are some of those cages? What are some of those rules, those boundaries, those zones? How do they protect us? How do they help us to be fruitful and valuable? And how do they point us to Christ, who is our King, who is the one that sets the tone and commands our life to truly love each other? That's where it all goes, right?
I love it.
Yeah. All right. So we're wrapping up. Just a couple of things to remember. What's going on in the life of the church?
Sure. So Bible study was yesterday.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Sunday. I said it too early then. I was thinking tomorrow was Wednesday. Yeah. Sunday service at 9:30 online and in person. At 11 o'clock on in person. Sunday youth group. We're doing in kids department and in youth group this week. We're doing a Valentine's Day party.
Yeah, happy Valentine's.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And then Bible study on Wednesday that I jumped ahead for. And
so for Bible study, we have been, the theme for our Bible study is Hold On, and we're looking at the book of Philippians. So I'm so grateful for Reverend John Crawford, who's been doing that while I've been tending to my family. But I'll be back with the Bible study this coming week. Someone wrote.
Yeah, Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine.
Do you want to share?
I can't read my glasses.
Oh. I also think there is an interesting connection between the perspective authority in our lives and our response of discipline.
Yeah. How our relationship with that authority shapes, our responsibility to ourselves and each other, the discipline we live with, which is, I think part of that. This is so great. I love how Jessamine brings this perspective, because sometimes they'll be like, here's the line, right? And I'll be like, like right up on it,
right?
Don't tell me what I can't do. But how much better to be like, oh, well, there's the line, and I'm going to choose to live in this space.
Yeah.
To live this good and faithful life.
Thanks for sharing, Jessica.
Yeah. That's really good. So, and then also it's maybe a little early, but I'm super excited about it. We had our Friday Fireside last month. It's coming up this month. It's the last Friday of the month if you're local, the 25th at 6:30 right here in the field. Last time we heard stories of rescue. Got a lot of cool stories. So this time the theme is stories of second chances. So
come on out, because my youth said I have to share this time.
Oh, that's going to be good. Oh, that's right. You got away without sharing.
I did.
Oh, no.
I convinced all of my youth, most of them, to share.
Yeah.
And then they were like, Miss Alicia, you're up next time.
Yeah.
And one of the youth, I was like, if I'm up next time, you are too.
Oh, man. It's going to be good.
So we're preparing.
It's going to be good. All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us. We love you, and we will see you soon.
Have a great week.
I got to turn this thing off.